Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another conversation of From Bromley with Love. This isn't a deep dive. We're going to call this one an FA Cup special. We are, at the time of recording, it's 9 o'clock on the 2nd of November. Less than 48 hours from now, Bromley will have played their FA Cup first round game live on BBC Two against EFL League One Blackpool. I think, where is it? Blackpool? Are they just Blackpool? Or is it Blackpool Town? Is it Blackpool?
It's just Blackpool.
Is it? For some reason, I thought it was, I just did a Bromley Town. I disrespected Blackpool so much, and then I called them Blackpool Town. I don't know where I've got that from, but we will be playing Blackpool. I do know about football, people, but we will be playing Blackpool in the first round of the FA Cup. It's a huge game. It's an absolutely, as it's got closer and closer to the game, I've started to just really appreciate how big of a game this is. Earlier today, Bromley were tweeting. You could see Andy Woodman's now got the national press wanting to talk to him. All of a sudden, Bromley means something on a national scale. As Colin and I said the last time we recorded something, this is different to the Bristol Rovers game. The Bristol Rovers game, the replay, was behind a paywall. I do not believe it is the same thing to say you've been on BT Sport, or even when we were in the FA Trophy final against Hollywood Wrexham, that was still on BT Sport. This is on terrestrial television. The whole nation has the opportunity to watch this game should they so want to. And as I said last time, Cole, there's no other televised FA Cup game on the Saturday. This is the only one. So it's weird. We've seen some massive moments, Cole. And I think Saturday will be, whether you're a newish Bromley fan or whether you're a long-time Bromley fan, there'll be a special feeling about Saturday in so much as, I don't want to say, look how far little old Bromley have come. I don't want to patronize like that. But there'll definitely be a special feeling to be like, wow, okay, we kind of mean something, because this isn't Bromley in the Isthmian League playing Blackpool as like some major, like, oh, the players are postmen and this, that, and the other. This is a pro club versus a pro club, and it feels like a really big tie. But what's your feelings about it, Colin?
Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, the fact that it's definitely our debut on terrestrial telly, so it's a big deal. It's like I can say to everybody, like, sort of the relatives, Emma's, my wife's family, friend. I'm saying, yeah, BBC Two Saturday, we're on. You don't have to have a subscription or anything. We're there. Just turn it on and you'll see us. It feels really big, and obviously they're a big side. They've won the FA Cup. They've been in the Premier League about just over 10 years ago. It's huge opposition as well. It's a big name. It feels bigger than, it feels like the biggest FA Cup game we've had.
Yeah, for sure. It's the biggest cup game we've had. Do you think, this is interesting though, Cole, is it bigger than Wrexham at Wembley in the FA Trophy final though?
Not for me, but profile wise, yeah, because as you said, you had to have a BT Sports subscription to see that game. If you were, just someone who's mildly interested, you would have to have but this one, literally, you can flick over and we're there. We're on the big, the big channel. So I think profile-wise, it's bigger, but I would say because of the trophy final being what it is, that was a bigger game in terms of, like, we won something and it was at the National Stadium.
But before I continue, people, I kind of alluded to, no matter what type of Bromley fan you are, whether you're a new Bromley fan in the last few years or whether you're a long-term Bromley fan who's been going for me, it's, 25 plus years. For Cole, what is it for you, Cole?
46.
46 years. But the reason I make that reference point, and I apologize if what I'm about to say sounds a bit cryptic, because I want to respect the family's wishes, but I do just want to take this moment to say that news has reached both myself and Cole that a beloved Bromley fan, somebody of long-standing within the Bromley fraternity, has unfortunately passed away. So I just wanted to take this moment to say may that fan rest in peace. Colin and I know the person very, very well. A beloved fan at the club, and in the interest of best wishes for the family, we won't say anything more, but we just felt it was right to acknowledge it and not act as if we didn't know that was the case. So we just wanted to take that moment to just address that as well. And those who are listening, you'll know what we're talking about. So it just felt right to address that. But moving forward, Cole, like we say, it's a weird one because I was looking at Bromley's FA Cup history, right? And since we've got promoted to the National League in 15-16, or our first season in the National League was 15-16, we haven't had to do the run. We haven't had to do the FA Cup run. Even when we were in Conference South, we still had a bit of a run to do. We'd have to
do second qualifying round.
Qualifying round, third qualifying round, fourth qualifying round, then the first round. So even in Conference South, it still felt like we were doing a run. If we go all the way back to the Isthmian days, there were some years where we entered in the extra preliminary round.
Yep, there were. Yeah, we were out of the FA Cup.
There are some people listening to this going, "What the hell is the extra preliminary round?"
Man.
There are years where we had to enter the extra preliminary round before the preliminary round.
I think it was 2001, possibly. We lost to Hassocks away, and we were out. That was the preliminary round. That was the first round we'd entered, and we were out. And I remember coming home from that thinking, "Oh my God, how?" But so to be plonked into the full qualifying round to go win one game and you're there it's a weird feeling. But the expectations are bigger now, right? Because now it's not just about getting to the first round, which used to be the achievement. Like, when you think Gillingham 2006, we'd gone through a lot of games to get there. Tottenham, Lowestoft, Hayes, Grays, and then Gillingham. So it was a big deal. But now really you're like, well, we've won one game, but now the big deal and now the test for us is, can we make the second round?
Yeah, it feels like the Holy Grail. I don't consider it to, I know it technically has been done, but I don't consider it to be anything that they've done in the modern era, what I consider to be the modern era. There's so many clubs around us, or that we consider our contemporaries, who've managed to do it. It's something that Bromley haven't managed to do in a long time. But I guess before we continue on that line, does the FA Cup mean as much to you? Because we don't no longer go on those runs. And I know I started off by saying, "Oh, this is a huge game," and it is. But does it mean as much to you as it once did, particularly in light of the fact that we are now a club that challenges at the top end of the National League? We're a club who realistically expect to be in and around National League playoffs come the end of the season. And we know that the National League playoffs have their own kind of carrot at the end of it, that being the Holy Grail of League Two football. Can Blackpool notwithstanding, has something changed for you with regards to the FA Cup from what it once was?
Yeah, I think it's changed because we don't have to qualify, because we literally have to win one game to get through. It loses something there, but I still think once you're in the game, and once you're like Bristol Rovers was the final example, that day was really, really special. Because you kind of looked around that sort of temporary stand of behind the goal at Bristol Rovers, and you looked at it, but you think, yeah, this is it. Everyone there was invested in Bromley, and it meant when we equalised it, there's nothing can replace that feeling. It meant everything at the time. There were people that should know better. They were on the pitch, so so it was special. Yeah.
One of the two people on this show ended up on the pitch at Bristol Rovers. You can guess which one it was, but one of us definitely should have known better with regards to behaviour. But I actually agree with you there, thinking back to that, because, that Bristol Rovers game was special. And that moment, that I think I was next to you and maybe Will, that equalising moment, I don't even know what overcame me.
You were gone.
And I always say that as old as I've got, or as the years have advanced, every now and again there's a moment that Bromley produce where I'm like, okay, you know what? It's still there. I still feel something. And that's how I know that in spite of the kind of few hurdles that we have to overcome to get into the national draw, or the first round draw, there can still be moments. But before we get into those moments and talk about some of the special moments over the last few years, after the Woking games, I went to the Woking game last Saturday, 1-1-0, and our record now reads, and I think Andy Woodman is right to say this in all the build-up, 1 defeat in our last 17 games, and that defeat only being to the league leaders. We, as you and I said last time, we'll never have a better chance of going into a game with a league club and in some ways saying, we aren't afraid of you. Like, we're the team in form. Forget whoever you are. We don't know how to lose right now. Even when we're performing like we should, we still don't know how to lose. In fact, we're getting wins. And I raised a point in the last write-up for the Woking game, the good, bad, and the ugly. And I said, what should Andy Woodman do? Given it's a team that is 2 divisions above us, albeit coming to our place on the 3G, 4G, call it what you want. They won't be used to it. There's no hybrid turfs or artificial type turfs in the EFL, so they won't be used to it. Whether they train on those type of things or not, they're not used to it competitively. But there's still a challenge. They're in the playoffs themselves in League One. Does Andy Woodman go more pragmatic, or does he just go with, this is the best 11 that has got us this run of, largely speaking, this run of 1 in 17, and make Blackpool worry about us rather than us adapt to what we feel Blackpool can or can't do?
For me, I would go as we are. I think I know what the starting 11 would be if I picked it. I think we play the same shape, we play the same style. They score a lot of goals, we score a lot of goals. I'm expecting goals on Saturday. And I don't mind if it's a shootout, because, it's not about preserving a point. It's about, I'd love to see us go for it, or just be Bromley. Not try and be too clever, not try and think up with some tactical master plan, but go, this is how we play, and let's see how it goes. We literally have nothing to lose on Saturday. There is no pressure on us at all. The pressure is on them.
With that said and done, you said the team writes itself, but I am going to pose you the quandary. The following 9 players for me write themselves, right? So Grant Smith in goal, Passley right wing back, Bez left wing back, Webster will be in the centre of the defence. The midfield will be Sam Woods, assuming Lewis Lee is cup tied. Sam Woods, Ben Crowhouse, Corey Whiteley, Michael Cheek, Olafella Olamola, right?
Yeah, that's all I had written down. Yeah.
Right, exactly, right? So the only places open for debate for me is, who are the 2 centre-backs, the other side of Webster? Yeah. I've got Deji as a definite, right? If Charlton allow him to play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to allow. I don't know what the score is with that. I would, if Charlton let him play, then yeah, definitely, absolutely.
So assuming Charlton let him play, Deji will. If Deji's allowed to play, he's 100% playing. Yeah. Who's your other centre back? Say now. Let me pose it to you. If Alex Kirk is fit,
yeah.
If Chinna Coley is fit, if Callum Reynolds is fit, Cole Kepkewa, who I forgot last time, is fit. Yeah. Who's playing on the right-hand side?
If Millwall give us the okay, I would think Chin will get the start. I would think. Because Chin one side and Deji the other side of Byron seems to be working really, really well. If Millwall say no, then Alex Kirk, I would think. It's tough on Callum, because I went to the London Senior Cup game on Tuesday. He played just over an hour, was absolutely fine, looked great. But it's really tough on him, because I don't think he's done anything wrong. We've just got such a selection of centre backs to choose from. But it all depends which league clubs say, yeah, they can play, and which ones don't.
Yeah.
And I guess the club aren't letting anyone know because they don't want Blackpool to know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
100%. And the good thing about the FA Cup, unless I'm mistaken, you're allowed 7 subs.
that's
So
right. Yeah,
actually, everyone's on the bench. Whoever's fit and available, not everyone, but you know what I mean? Like, there will be options to go on the bench.
Are we still only allowed to name 5 loan players, or is that National League rules? I don't. I'd be
Oh, that's a
interested
good
to know
point,
that.
actually.
Yeah,
That's a
because
good
we can
point.
only name 5 in the league, can't we? Out of the 7 or 8 that we've got.
Those watching this, listening to this, whether through the Facebook link or YouTube, get in the comments below and just reply to that. Can we name as many loan players as we want to take up the bench? But I think that the reason why I raised the point about 7 on the bench, Cole, is fundamentally we've got such a good squad that it means that Andy has the ability, one, obviously, to name Teddy Sharman now as a goalkeeper, but then ultimately cover every single possibility and eventuality on the bench.
You would think Louis is a shoo-in to be on there and come on at some point.
Yeah.
And then like 1 or 2 of the centre backs. Then you've got Jude Arthurs, you've got James Fennings. We've got such a strength in depth now. There'll be people that don't make the 7 that would have a really good case of making the 7.
Yeah. Unless there's injuries.
Yeah.
Unless there's injuries that we do not know of. Obviously, the club won't leak that. But unless there's injuries that we do not know of, you'd assume that, your Todd Millers will be on there. As you say, with the loanee thing, I don't know if Kiddo Taylor Hart gets on there because we don't know what the loanee situation is in terms of how many can be on the bench. But like I say, we beyond Lewis Lee definitely being cup-tied, or what we assumed to be cup-tied because he was last time, we go into this game with a full quota of players to choose from, an embarrassment of riches in terms of deciding how to line up, how best to line up. But fundamentally, like you say, Cole, I think we worry about Blackpool in terms of what patterns of play they like. But I think we go in with the idea of you worry about us. You worry about why we've only lost 1 game in the last 17, as opposed to because the only thing we're worrying about is, well, they're League One, but so what? We're the team that hasn't lost in a long time. So it kind of is what it is, you know. Just to clarify, I said that Blackpool were in the playoffs. They're actually 1 spot out of the playoffs, but only on goal difference. So much of a muchness. They actually played yesterday on Wednesday, which is interesting that they got the Saturday game, even though they'd played on Wednesday. But it was a local derby. They're away to Fleetwood. And it was a 3-3 draw. So they'll have to come down for the Saturday evening. That's possibly why the game is an evening kickoff, because of the Wednesday that they've played on, more than likely. We'll see how it goes. But earlier on, Colin, we alluded to some of the best FA Cup moments, and the last thing that we recorded, people said, yeah, that'll be good to talk about some of the best FA Cup moments. So before Colin and I go through them, again, get in the comments below, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and just let us know, what are your best FA Cup memories? Some of you will go for the recent stuff, such as Bristol Rovers, but the first one I'm going to throw to you, Cole, and this is going way back. I had to get up all my I had to go and consult my data to find when the dates were for these things. Let's see if you can remember the season, Cole. I didn't actually go to the preliminary round game. The first on this FA Cup run, I joined it. Because that's the other thing about the FA Cup runs of yesteryear. When did you join the run? So I joined the run for this one in the first qualifying round, where we went away to Fisher Athletic, who then played at Dulwich Hamlet. And that was when Fisher Athletic were pumping money into the club. Steve Watts. I remember Steve Watts playing for them.
The big guy that used to play for QPR.
Yeah, the centre back was playing for them, whose name was Huggins. I can't remember who was playing. Huggins played for us. I can't remember who they had, but they had a phenomenal team for that level of football. We went away to Dulwich Hamlet, drew 2-2 with them, took them back to Hayes Lane for a Tuesday night replay. I think it was a Solomon Tywell penalty that won it on a Tuesday night, and that was the fact. I've still got the program from that game because we were massive underdogs against Fish. I think Stuart McIntyre might be manager. Was it Macca? I think it was Macca. Don't know. But anyways, we were massive underdogs, and beat them in that first qualifying round. I then didn't go to the second qualifying round game. Do you know who we beat after them? See if you can remember
No,
that.
go on. No, I can't. Hit
Thamesmead
me with it.
Town 3-0.
Oh yes, yes,
I
that
don't
was
even
a
remember
home.
it. If I
Yeah,
went,
yeah.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was a
But
home game. Yeah.
let me test your knowledge. After we beat Thamesmead Town in the second qualifying round, who did we get in the third qualifying round?
Is this isn't Mangotsfield, is it? This is before
No,
this.
no. This was the season before
Oh,
Mangotsfield.
Cambridge City.
That was the fourth qualifying
That
round.
was the fourth qualifier. Who's the
Who did we
third?
beat to get to Cambridge?
Oh no, God, I've let myself down. Who was it?
And when I say it, you're going to be like, "Oh my God, Sutton United."
Yeah. Wow,
So,
that's right.
so we went away to Sutton and drew 2-2, and then took them back to Hayes Lane on the Tuesday night with was it the double Eddie Akumoa own goals?
It was a double own goal from Eddie Akumoa,
So-
who played for us previously.
Took them back to Hayes Lane on a Tuesday night. Again, massive underdogs. I think Sutton were the league above us.
They were.
Took them back to Hayes Lane, beat them in a replay, and then drew again. Sorry, we got Cambridge City in the fourth qualifying round. I think
they were National South at the time.
Yeah, they were National League South at the time. We were Isthmian.
One?
Were we Isthmian 1? We were Isthmian 1.
Yeah, we were Isthmian 1. Yeah.
1 at the time.
Yeah,
so
we were.
As much as some people might listen to this and go, "What? We didn't even make the first round," but given the context of what level we were at the time, it was a phenomenal run that we went on, which was then ended by a conference outside in the fourth qualifying round. So that's one of my favourite ones. Cole, over to you.
Okay, I would go the '96 run because I started watching Bromley as a 6-year-old in '77. We just played Swindon, and I missed that. But I remember that we'd played Swindon and we got beat, but we'd given them a really good game. It was 19
Hold on. For those who don't know, tell them the score. Hold on.
Okay. Well, it was 1-0 until the 70th minute, and then we lost 7-0. And my only memory from that, right, my childhood memory, is sitting in front of final score and seeing it come up, Swindon 7, and then 7 written in brackets. You know, when it's like, it's such a big score that they have to write the number afterwards. Bromley in there, when I was thinking, oh no. But it was 19 years until we reached the first round again. And that was a phenomenal run, and also included a win over Sutton. So everything was good about that run. That was your first year watching Bromley?
Yeah, that was my first year watching Bromley.
Yeah. So I think we beat Viking Sports, we beat Crawley, St Leonard's after a replay, and then we got Sutton in the fourth qualifying round, and we beat them 1-0 with a goal from Keith Sharman about 15 minutes before the end, and the sheer joy and vitriol behind the goal when that went in, and everybody steaming down the front, and it was a fantastic day. We polled in the bar. The draw was directly after the game, and we drew Enfield at home, who were top of our league and so much better than us. But the really good memory from that game is that we took the lead. We went 1-0 up against Enfield. Conrad Kane scored. There was 3,500 people at Hayes Lane. The official crowd is way lower than that, but I've been told there were 3,500 people at Hayes Lane that day. And unfortunately, then we lost 3-1. But it was a really special day, and I think because we took the lead, I think we'll all remember that feeling as well. Because you never saw crowds of more than 500 at Bromley, and then all of a sudden 3,500 was a very big deal at the time.
So that was 96, 97. And to be fair,
that's right.
It was another 10 years before we made the first round again.
It was. Yeah, it was.
After that.
Yes.
And the run to get to that first round against Gillingham was special in itself as well, because that was our Ryman Prem winning season.
Yeah, that's right.
With which, for those who don't know, that's when we had a young Sam Wood, a young Gareth McCleary. When we say young people, we mean they were both 19, 18 at the time.
That's right.
And we had Nick McDonald scoring goals for fun at that time. And on that run, Cole, I didn't turn up for the first qualifying round. Do you remember who we beat in that first qualifying round?
That was Tottenham. Tottenham at home.
AFC Tottenham 4-0.
Yeah.
I bunked that one. Turned up for the second qualifying round game, which was Lowestoft away, which we
1-0
won
in the last minute.
with the last kick of the game, a Tony
Yeah.
Boot goal in the last minute of the game. And the only reason I remember it is because I fell over the wall behind the goal in the ensuing goal celebration. After that, we went to Hayes, who were the league above us at the time.
They were,
Hayes,
yeah.
I think were they Hayes or were they
It
Hayes
was
and
just
Yeadon at that
Hayes.
point?
It was
They were
just
just
Hayes
Hayes.
at that point.
So we went to Sugar. Where did they used to play? Is that ground
Church
done
Road.
now?
Yeah, it's
That
housing
housing
estate
now. Yeah. So we
Yeah,
went to
Church Road.
Hayes'. We went to
Yeah.
Hayes' old ground and beat them really well.
Really beat them.
Like
Yeah.
literally played them off the park. I think it was 3-1 at Hayes, which got us a fourth qualifying round game against then conference premier side, Grays Athletic, who at the time I think they'd won the trophy. Mark Stimpson was their manager, and they had Aaron McLean up front. They had Michael Kitely. They had a bunch of players who went on to play in the Premier League, and they were like everyone knew about how good Grays were. Again, I think they were playing at a ground that has now gone defunct as well.
Yeah,
was
they were. It was called the Recreation Ground. It was in Grays, right in the middle of Grays. Yeah, that's housing as well now.
And we won that one 2-1. Was it a Lloyd Blackman double?
Yes, it was.
Lloyd Blackman double. I think went 2-0 up and they got one back at the end and we had to hold on at the end. I don't know what everyone did their own thing after that. Because again, the draw was some people piled into a pub in Grays. I don't know what I did. But of course, we drew Gillingham. And at the time, that was seen as massive, kind of like a pseudo Kent derby. And again, I think because we hadn't been to the first round for 10 years, and that was only our second appearance since 77, that felt massive. That felt like a really big deal to be going to Gillingham in the first round. And to be fair, Cole, I know it ended 4-1, but up until the 80th minute, it was actually a close game of football.
We're letting 2 in the last couple of minutes. We'd pulled it back to 2-1. Nick McDonald scored in front of us. And there were 1,500 Bromley fans there, which was 3 times the average home ground at the time. It felt like a really big deal. There's a fantastic photo that Mark Avenel took of the away end, and it's packed and it looks incredible. And when we pulled back to 2-1, I think there was about a 10-minute window after that where you're thinking we could get a replay here.
Yeah.
And then they nicked a couple right at the end. I think we were probably pushing, and but it was a fantastic day.
Now, since that game, we've made the first round a hell of a number of times.
Yeah.
Let me read some of these scores to you. In 2009, 2010, we made it and lost 4-0 to Colchester United. Yeah. In 2011-12, we made it and played Leyton Orient and lost 3-0. The following season, we made it again, went to Fleetwood and lost 3-0. 2 seasons later, and this is what I'm going to pause on, we made it again, and this time we played Dartford at home. Now, of all of the first round games that we have played, Cole, and I'm even including Bristol Rovers in there, that is the one where I think we truly fumbled the bag. Because that game, Dartford were in the National League and we were, what season was
Nationals,
that? Was that our promotion year? Or was that our playoff? That was the year we... No, that was our promotion season.
It was a promotion year.
Season, sorry.
Yeah, we were National South.
That was the reason we won National League South, and Dartford were like mid to lower table in the National League.
Yeah, that's right.
One of their worst seasons in the National League. And I look back on that game, Cole, and we lost our heads. That game was there to be won.
Yeah, we let in 4 goals from corners. Lost 4-3. Every time they had a corner, I thought they're going to score again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people say how have Bromley not made it to the second round, that was the season we should have made it.
Absolutely right.
To the second round. And we've never, not just because Dartford were in the National League only, but they weren't any better than us.
No,
we were the team on the right. In fact, when Dartford got relegated from the National League, they haven't been seen since. So we were the team. We were the team on the ascendancy. They were the team on the decline, and we we threw it away. After that Dartford one, again, couple seasons later, went to Rochdale, lost 4-0. Then Peterborough came to us the following season, and we lost 3-1 at home. And that Peterborough one, Cole, I'll pause there. That Peterborough one feels familiar to what we're facing on Saturday. Peterborough were go on, sorry.
We were 1-0 up at the time,
Yeah,
playing really well, and then Frankie Raymond got sent off, and they scored from the free kick, and we went in 1-1 at half time, and I think we all knew with 10 men in the second half against a very good League One side, and we 3-1 in the end, wasn't it?
yeah.
There was a big Scottish guy, their manager,
Steve Evans.
Yes, that's a fella. Yeah. So I mean, his sides take some beating, but we had them rattled for 40 minutes. I would say I think that's one of the ones where I thought actually we're not too far off here.
Yeah.
But again, we fumbled it again.
And I equate it to Blackpool coming to us because at the time, Peterborough were flying high. We knew that we were underdogs. We weren't a bad team. What season was that again? Was that 1920? That was 18-19. We'd been to the FA Trophy final the year before,
That's right.
or the season before. We were a top 10 National League team. So although there was a two divisions gap, we knew we could be competitive. And for the first time since that was the first time I'd seen us in the first round game against a league club look like we deserved to be there until the sending off, and then it was like, we definitely don't deserve to be here anymore. And they kind of swatted us away with ease in the second half, as they should do with a man advantage. But it's worth just highlighting that game because as much as we've only lost 1 in 17 and Blackpool have to fear us in some shape or form, it is worth pointing out to people that for us to beat them, we have to play to our absolute maximum. We can't afford a sending off. We can't afford to cede any kind of advantage to Blackpool because they will finish us if we do. And so I always say in these kind of scenarios, the underdog team has to play to their absolute maximum, and the better side has to drop their levels by just 5%. They have to be rattled enough to drop their levels by 5%, and that's how you complete a giant killing. But if they play to their absolute maximum and we play to our absolute maximum, then all things being right, we'll lose, and we'll lose narrowly.
Yeah, that's right. That's it the same way. Yeah.
And you could even equate that, Cole, to when we went to Bristol Rovers, which obviously was a couple of seasons. In fact, that was the following season. It was the following season after Peterborough. When we went to Bristol Rovers, the reason why we got that replay is because Bristol Rovers didn't play with any level of... If you look back on that game, I'm not saying they turned up expecting to win, but they didn't play with any level of intensity.
No, that's right.
That kind of warranted it's almost as if they thought, right, if we just play, it will come. And because we were playing to the absolute maximum we could play at, they couldn't find a way through because they hadn't come with the correct intensity to match that. So when we got the equalizer, it was no more than we deserved.
Absolutely,
across the kind of piece of the whole match.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's in all the other games when we played league opposition, we've conceded once and they've put it up a notch and had us out of the game very quickly. But Bristol Rovers went in front and then seemed to ease off and think they'd done enough, and we stepped it up, despite the fact that I think we were playing with 10 men because we'd made all our subs and Clifton got injured. But we still did. Yeah, got a replay, and we were unlucky in the replay. That's the one game I would come away thinking, you know what, we're an offside decision away from taking that to extra time.
Yeah. It was weird, that replay. Like, I wasn't disappointed because I do think the players gave everything they could on the night, but we just didn't get that lucky ricochet, or the ball didn't drop at the right height that it needed to drop at. And again, like you say, they got the early goal. And
That's right.
and the
Yeah.
reality is for Bristol Rovers is they showed their experience in kind of like what we've been doing to teams in the National League. It was like, right, we got this goal. Let's see if you got anything to break us down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So ultimately, I mean, that's a massive, massive reflection. I, of course, can't forget, I won't count the Oval one, which was in the midst of the pandemic, but a couple, a couple of seasons ago, people forget that we actually made it to play Rotherham, which was another new team to play. And I'm going to just say with that one that Rotherham did to us what I think a league team is supposed to do, which is that they turned up, respected who we were, but just played at the right level, which said, we're gonna kind of keep you at arm's length here. Yeah, you can compete and you can try be game, but we've got that extra bit of quality that you can't match, and we're gonna play at the level of intensity that means that you're not gonna be able to match us no matter what you do.
And we had a player sent off.
And then we had the player sent off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for an outrageous clear red that no one could dispute. It was like, oh, you watch it on the replay, think, oh my god, what was he doing?
so we've given people a bit of a potted history of Bromley's repeated journeys to the first round of the FA Cup. And like I say, Col, I think there is a clear pattern there that we just cannot. We have to obviously we have to turn up. This is the pattern that I've seen over the countless number of first round games of what we have to do to even have a chance. First and foremost, obviously we have to turn up. We ideally have to score first.
Yes.
To have a genuine, realistic chance, we have to score first. That doesn't mean we couldn't equalize if they scored first, but if we're talking about actually beating a league side, the experience has shown we must get the first goal. We can't afford a sending off.
No, we cannot.
we can't afford a sending off, and I think we also, given the quality of the squad, this is one of the things I've never been critical about with Andy Woodman. I actually think he's brave enough to make substitutions at the right time, but he's got to recognize when someone has nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
I know he thinks we're one of the fittest teams going, but I think at League One level, that's just normal. Like for at our level, being the fittest team in the league is an extra 1% advantage that you get over everyone else, or 5% advantage, or whatever it might be. I think at League One level, we're going to be seeing a team that, that level of fitness is just what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, standard, absolutely. The intent, like I said to you, the one League Two game I've seen this season, the fitness of the players is phenomenal. The intensity of the matches, yeah, absolutely. They will be as fit as us. And you've got to recognise maybe when one of our forwards maybe has run his, and they're going to have to work hard. We are going to have to work. Every player is going to have to work at their absolute maximum on Saturday.
Which leaves us only with one thing to do. You're going to have to put your flag on the mast here. Let's see which one of us gets the. Which one of us? I know there's a prediction league. I don't know if it's running for the FA Cup. Probably is. But which one? Let's see which one of us gets it right.
Oh,
you can do. I'll help you out because you're allowed to do my head says and my heart says. I'll allow you two different versions of this.
Yeah. Okay. Her heart is 1-0 Bromley. Michael Cheek. Around the hour mark, we'll just basically repeat Wrexham. Head probably says, you know what, we'll give them a good game, but we might lose 3-2.
Okay. My head says 2-1 defeat.
Yeah, okay.
My heart says replay in Blackpool.
Yeah, yeah,
So, that,
yeah.
that's how I'm seeing it. That's
That'll
how
be
I'm
on the
seeing
telly as well. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But the one thing we didn't cover, Cole, we didn't cover the kind of the flip sides for all this. Bromley are on national television, and for quite a lot of us as Bromley fans, this may or may not be the first time
Mm,
people who you've spoken to are. This may be the first time they're properly recognizing that you support a real football club. They've heard you
yeah,
support Bromley. They know you go to Bromley games, and they kind of still not laugh, but just don't take you seriously. This is their chance to see this team that we call Bromley.
yeah.
Cole, I can't take an embarrassment.
No,
I
I
can't
can't.
I
I
can't
can't. I'm
take
the
it.
same. Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't take that co-worker who on Monday will go, that wasn't very good.
yeah. Exactly. The one time they watched Bromley all season. Yeah,
So if there's any Bromley player watching this, if there's any Bromley staff member watching this, the only thing I request is please, whatever you do, don't embarrass me on national television. Just be game, just show
yeah,
up, and let me hold my head high when I go into work on Monday
yeah.
morning
I
and
think
say
that's
that's
all
the
we can
team
ask for.
I've supported.
Yeah, yeah. That's my team. Yeah.
We don't want Blackpool 7 in brackets
No,
probably 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 nil. That's it.
can't do that again.
But listen, Cole, I'm going to catch
Yeah,
you on Saturday. Anybody else who's
yeah,
listening to this, obviously, if you're a Blackpool fan listening to this, as well as liking the video, sharing it, etc., getting the comments below, etc. As at the
yeah,
time of recording, as far as I know, Blackpool are very, very close to selling out their allocation. They were given 650, as I
yeah.
understand it,
That's
for
right.
the away section, and that's Bromley at 6 o'clock in the evening on a Saturday. That's no mean feat.
No, it's good going,
So well done
especially
to
if it's
them.
going to rain all day as well.
That as well. You're going to be on
Yeah,
our open. You're going to be on our open terrace of doom. So well done to the well done to the
yeah.
600s who are
I tip
traveling
my
from
hat to all
Blackpool.
of them.
But Cole, listen, I'll catch you on Sunday. Saturday. Thank you as ever for
Pleasure, mate.
joining me on the show. And let's do once it's all said and done and it's done and dusted. Let's review it
Yeah,
and
cool. That'd be
yeah,
good.
we'll join each other again on another episode and edition. But that's been Cole, people. I've been Machel St. Patrick Hewitt. This hasn't even been the deep dive. This has been an FA Cup special, but this has been From Bromley with Love. We'll see you again soon.